This recording is going to show you how to start your first Netbeans project. If you already know how to do this, then you can skip over this video. The first thing to do is to download the latest version of Netbeans for whatever platform you're using. As you may notice, I am running on a Macintosh, and the version of Netbeans I am using is 8.0.2. These instructions should hold for if you're running a later version, unless they've changed things terribly. Anyway, Netbeans organizes its files in projects, and so that's what we're going to do. There are two ways to create a project, and after you've downloaded and installed Netbeans, you run it, and you should get a splash screen to begin with. You can remove that, and your screen should look something like this. So be sure to have the Projects tab open here. Now you can either click on this brown icon in the upper left, or you can go File, New Project, or there can be a command sequence. In this case, it would be Shift, the Command key, and N. So there are several ways of doing it. Regardless of which way you do, it'll bring up a dialog box that looks something like this. You may not have all of the different items on the left-hand side. Now we can either do an application or a class library. I would encourage you to do a class library because we're going to have a number of different main methods using the same basic code. So choose Java Class Library and then click Next. And then this is an opportunity to name your project. I would suggest something like CS2173 code because this is CS2173 and we will be putting code in there. Their suggested location is in a directory called Netbeans Projects. If you're running on Windows, this may be in your Documents folder where it suggests. If you want to put it somewhere else, you can click the Browse button and put it somewhere else. All that is perfectly fine. I'm just going to take the default because that's the easiest thing to do. And just click Finish. And then when we finish, we see that we have an empty project. Now, yours may come up like this. Mine, if you click on the little triangles, they will open up what's under it. So the source packages are going to be where we put our code, and the libraries are going to be where we add additional possibly third-party libraries. In this case, the library is the current version of Java. Actually, it's not the absolute latest one. It's only 1.8 update 25. I think they're beyond that now. That isn't going to really affect us too much. So this is now just to examine what's in there. If you click on the Files tab and then open that up, you'll see a number of files that don't show in the Projects tab. This is where Netbeans puts its different files that organize the project. So for example, this build file, this is an Ant script that Netbeans creates for you. We won't be using that very much in this course, but as if you want to become a Java expert and are writing more elaborate applications, then learning Ant is definitely something you should be doing. The SRC, this is where the source files will go. Again, we don't have any source files yet. The lib directory is where the libraries are going to go, and what this has is this has actually some Java classes in here that will organize the libraries when we get around to that, and some properties which you can actually kind of look at there but aren't going to impact us for a while. The NB project is where a lot of these things are, a lot of the important properties are being held. Again, an XML file which relates to the Ant script. This GenFiles properties is some kind of internal organization. Another properties file that just has a whole bunch of properties. Again, at this point, we don't really need to concern ourselves too much with that. That's really something that comes in at a more advanced level. So at this point, what we have done is we have created an empty Netbeans project, and we're ready to move on to the next step.